I let out a noise that's somewhere between a groan and a whine as I just stare at her. I feel like I'm going to collapse, but I just stand there, shaking like a leaf in a fall breeze. No, Hieronymus says immediately, stepping between me and Professor Potsdam. You are not expelling her, Petunia. She has not caused anyone serious harm, and she has learned her lesson. Really? Potsdam muses. I'm not so sure she has. They both turn back to me, but I'm not sure what they're expecting me to say. I know what I did was wrong, I say, because I knew arguing fairness would not get me very far. But I was not trying to hurt anyone. I was trying to save someone. Hieronymus has already explained to me the dangers of opening a portal as Bej did. Dangers I was ignorant of, and now that I know better, it won't happen again. You have been trouble since the very moment you arrived at my academy, Potsdam insists. Keeping track of your whereabouts has been one headache after another, especially with the mess that you were in last year. That was not her fault, Hieronymus says indignantly. You put Tori in that position. Don't think I don't know that it was you who led her to the mailroom on that fateful day, that it was you who used Tori as bait to lure Damien out of hiding. You have done more to put her in harm's way than most, and I have sat back and held my tongue, but I will not allow you to strip Tori of her magic. Potsdam laughs, and Hieronymus visibly recoils. Who would have guessed that you would make such a devoted husband, Hieronymus? I'm serious, Hieronymus replies. I will not let Tori lose her magic. Do not forget that as Viscount Ascending, once I take my father's seat... Yes, you don't have to remind me, Potsdam says. She looks bitter about something, but what it is, I can't say. But it appears, Hieronymus, that you have not heard me correctly. Haven't I? Hieronymus raises his eyebrows. Please then, enlighten me. Tori is expelled from Iris Academy, Potsdam says simply. However, I am not going to take her magic. I stare her down, as does Hieronymus. Explain. Tori has broken too many rules of this institution to continue to be a student here, Potsdam continues. However, I am aware of Tori's status as the wife of a noble, and it wouldn't be appropriate to simply drive her out of the magical community, especially when there are some that are quite taken with her. I immediately think of Hieronymus's father. There is one school that will take her in. Miss Minchin's boarding school in London. I have reached out to them, and they have already sent Tori her acceptance letter. Hieronymus turns back to me, and I can tell what he's thinking without even saying anything. That was the name of the boarding school that his father had mentioned to us during our Christmas dinner. How long has he been planning this? Hieronymus demands. Tori will go to Miss Minchin's and finish up her remaining year of study there, Potsdam says, settling back in her chair. She will learn how to be a proper lady and hopefully keep her nose out of trouble. Hieronymus just glares at Potsdam, but it was clear now that she was nothing more than a puppet. I think we'll take our leave now. It seems Tori has some packing to do. He turns to go, but I hang back. Wait, I say, turning to Potsdam. The acceptance letter. It would have been sent through regular mail, right? Do you still have it? Potsdam looks surprised, but goes over to a filing cabinet on the far side of the room. She does a spell, and immediately the envelope rises out of the depths of the drawer. Here you go, dear. As she is no longer a student here, I think addressing her as Mrs. Grabiner from now on would be more appropriate, Hieronymus says as he physically grabs my arm and drags me out of her office. I feel like there's something I want to say to Potsdam, but honestly, right now, the words just wouldn't come. I wasn't going to lose my magic, or my memories, but I still couldn't help but think that I very easily could have if I wasn't married to Hieronymus. It wasn't something I wanted to think about. Hieronymus immediately teleports us back to our room as he opens the door. I don't trust that wretched woman, Hieronymus snaps as he shuts the door behind us. Pack your things, Tori. Quickly. We are going to leave for London immediately. What? I ask as I blink up at him. But classes are starting in a few days. You still have to teach here and finish training your replacement. He stares at me like that was the stupidest thing I've ever said to him. Potsdam could still change her mind and try to take your memories, Hieronymus reminds me. No, I won't feel safe until you are safely out of her reach. He lets out a sigh. And after I've let my father know, I formally accept his decision to take up his seat. No! I stand in front of him now. No, I'm not going to accept that. She's trying to use me to do what your father wants again, just like always. Hieronymus shakes his head like it doesn't matter. And you gave her a reason, Hieronymus says quietly. Sneaking out at night might not amount to much, but with everything else that's happened... I know I screwed up, but this isn't my fault, I say firmly. Hieronymus stares me down, and I can see anger building behind his eyes. Not your fault? Hieronymus repeats blankly. Tori, the poor decisions you have made have... No, take a look at this, I say as I hold the letter out for him to read. Look at when it was postmarked, the first week of March. Read the words, after careful review of your application. What application? I never sent one in. Your father probably submitted an application for me over Christmas break. That little mention of it to us was probably his warning that things were always going to happen this way. No matter what I did this spring, Potsdam was always planning on expelling me. Perhaps, Hieronymus says as he looks down at the letter, and I cast it aside as I walk up to him and take his face in my hands. I appreciate you defending me back there, I said quietly, but we need to talk right now. We really need to talk. Hieronymus just nods his head slowly. I suppose we do.